Ahead tonight, overnight shootings rock two communities, and ZNS is there.
A wild story behind this murder arraignment. We'll tell you about it.
And another set of illegal immigrants arrive in the capital. The National Report starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Everyday.
And to find a motive and follow leads into two fatal shooting incidents overnight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And I'm Andrew Knowles. Thanks for joining us. Both shootings happened literally minutes apart, and now police are investigating 4 homicides this week alone. Add to that a climbing homicide count that has now been pushed to over 100, with only 1 month left in 2013. Our Altavi's Munnings covered both crime scenes last night and tells us tonight how police need your help.
The police crime scene tape had just been mounted when our news team arrived on Minnie Street shortly before 8 o'clock Thursday night. All we met was a crowd of onlookers watching to see what will happen next. One by one, officers came to the scene to start their preliminary investigation. Here's what we know. Detectives confirmed that around 7:15, 2 men reportedly armed with a handgun entered a Minnie Street barbershop attempting to rob the proprietor.
He had his licensed shotgun in his hand, and one of the suspects, who was also armed with what we believe is a shotgun, discharged a shot in his direction. He in turn returned fire in the direction of the suspects who had approached him and striking one of them, as you see, fatally wounding him.
In what has been classified by police as an attempted armed robbery, officer in charge of the Central Detective Unit, Superintendent Paul Roll, noted that the victim, whom police believe is a teenager, was reportedly shot to the upper body and wore a mask. Officers discovered his lifeless body lying on the ground. While the shooter is in police custody, detectives are searching for the second suspect, whom authorities report goes by the alias Nato.
We are looking for a young black male who appears to be somewhere between the age of 18 to 21, smooth complexion, 5'8", about 140 pounds thereabout. The information at the time, he was adorned in a pair of blue jeans trousers, a pair of tennis shoes, and also a red shirt.
We appeal to his family to bring him in. Bring him so that we can have words with him and he can give his account as to what took place here. We're not going to stop until we find him.
While detectives were on Minnie Street investigating the shooting incident there, they got a call about another shooting incident that happened right here in Jubilee Gardens. We understand a 19-year-old was shot and killed.
He was accosted by a lone male who was riding a motorcycle. This male got off the motorcycle, produced a handgun, and shot the victim. The assailant made good his escape on a motorcycle into the McKinney Drive area, where there was a short pursuit by police officers. He was able to make good his escape on his motorcycle.
Police urge anyone with information on these matters to call them at 919 or 911 immediately. Meanwhile, police urge all residents to remain calm.
Go about their normal business and to be aware of their surroundings at all times.
Altavi's Munnings, ZNS Network News.
23-year-old Jermaine Taylor was back before a magistrate Friday afternoon, believed to be behind that Montel Heights shooting on Tuesday that left 1 man dead and 3 others wounded. Taylor was charged with the murder of Leonardo Cash and attempted murder of Angelo Cash, Christopher Johnson, and Wilson LaCroix. Police say it was shortly after 10 o'clock Tuesday morning when they were called to the Montel Heights area after learning 4 men were reportedly shot. Police confirmed that 3 men in a blue Honda hatchback allegedly pulled up and opened fire before fleeing the scene. In court, when Taylor was asked if he had a lawyer, he told magistrate Magistrate Andrew Forbes he did. However, he did not have a chance to speak with him to inform him of the arraignment. If Taylor's name is familiar, it's because he walked out of the Supreme Court a free man earlier this month after a jury found him not guilty of killing Michael McIntosh in 2011. He's reportedly also the brother of Vanessa Taylor, who was shot and killed on Monday evening on DeVoe Street. Also charged in court was 52-year-old Miami Street resident Vincent McKinney. McKinney was charged for killing Raymond Servias on Tuesday night. According to reports, the victim and McKinney were involved in an argument that resulted in the suspect hitting the deceased in the head with a piece of wood, and the deceased stabbing the suspect in the head with a knife. In court, when the magistrate asked McKinney what was wrong with his eye, he responded that it was injured when he was in an altercation. Magistrate Forbes told McKinney that he would ask officers to ensure that his eye injury was properly taken care of before he leaves to go to Her Majesty's prisons. Meantime, both men were not required to enter a plea to the charges, and bail was denied. Both cases were adjourned to February 3rd of next year.
A car accident could cost you more than you may think. Jiminy DeSwain tonight tells us that last year alone, claims were in the millions and talks to a leading insurance company on how you can lower your risk.
Traffic smash-ups occur in the thousands in the country each year. Assistant Managing Director at NUA Insurers, Brokers and Agents Stanford Charlton points out that last year, speed-related accidents dominated claims in the millions.
Bahamas first had about 3,100 claims, which accounted for about $14.7 million. From NUA's perspective, we accounted for about $3.7 million of that particular amount. So you would see the numbers are high, and I gave the information for 2012. We're now looking at 2013, and the numbers are trending about 10 to 15% higher.
Charlton says there are a number of factors insurers take into account before underwriting a risk. One of those is your driving record.
If they have been shown to have a number of accidents, their premium could be increased. We could increase the deductible under the policy, or we could even decide not to insure them based on the degree and severity of loss. So one of the things, number of things we say, pay attention to the speed limits. That's very, very important.
Wearing a seatbelt is the law, but it also has a huge impact on how much you're able to claim.
You must bear in mind that if you don't wear a seatbelt and an accident happens, there's something called contributory negligence, whereby the amount being claimed for by persons could be decreased because they didn't have their seatbelts on.
Officer in charge of the Traffic Division, ASP Craig Stubbs, says there have been 45 traffic fatalities nationwide so far this year. 20 of them in New Providence, 8 in Grand Bahama, and 17 in the Family Islands, 10 of those recorded in Eleuthera. Stubbs says so far this year, there have been more than 4,000 non-fatal accidents investigated in New Providence alone.
The majority of them have been like the rear end collision on the street. Persons not being attentive, not being patient, have contributed to well over the amount of the 4,000 plus matters that we investigated within the Providence district.
Accidents can't always be avoided, but there are some precautions your insurance company feel that you can take. Jiminy DeSwain, ZNS Network News.
Well, we had another cloudy day around the islands. Breezy conditions once again, and that allowed temperatures to get up into the upper 70s. Right now, we're enjoying 75 degrees outside our studios with a northeast wind at 11 knots. Relative humidity at 73%. Your barometric pressure is at 30.12 inches, and it is on the rise. A look at your boating forecast, travel weather, as well as Family Island temperatures is still to come.
Well, still ahead, more illegal immigrants arrive in the capital. We've got the latest.
Your tickets. We'll tell you how. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Shell Helix Ultra. Performance you can see.